presents The Story of Matthew by Helen Jeffrey. Episode 11, Hosanna to the King.
I must say, Matthew, your friend Zacchaeus has a very nice house.
He's quite an important man in his way.
But not very popular, I expect.
Jesus, welcome to my home.
I'd never have believed it.
This Jesus has gone to be the guest of Zacchaeus.
And we all know what he's like, a real sinner.
Lord, it is true what they're saying. I am a sinner, but you have changed me. I'm going to give half of my goods to the poor and the people I've cheated and defrauded. I'll make it up to them. I'll restore them 4 times as much as I took.
Zacchaeus, you and your family are saved for what you have done today. You are now a true son of Abraham. The Son of Man came to look for and to save people who are lost.
I don't agree with Jesus. Zacchaeus has lost the right to be called a Jew, a son of Abraham. He is a traitor.
But that's just what Jesus said to me one day. He told me that because I have faith in him, I have become a son of Abraham again.
I hate this road. The rocks, the dry heat, and the atmosphere. Yuck!
Well, I know what you mean. I can never come down it now without thinking of that story Jesus told about the Good Samaritan.
It's only a story. The only Good Samaritan is a dead one.
Judas, you mustn't say that kind of thing. It sounds...
Why shouldn't I say it? Do you really think if we were set upon by robbers and beaten that any Samaritan would help us? You can't be serious.
I don't know, Judas, but I do know that Jesus doesn't want us to think about Samaritans that way. Andrew, isn't that so, Andrew?
What does it matter? I'm sure we'll not be set upon while we're in Jesus' company.
You boys are very optimistic. I just hope you're right. The sooner we reach the city, the better I'll be pleased.
Jesus is planning a break and a rest when we get to that clump of trees on the top of that rise.
Oh, not again. Delays. Oh, I suppose it could be that Jesus is just putting off the evil hour.
What are you talking about? Matthew, what's Judas on about?
He thinks the time has come for Jesus to claim his kingdom, and he's very anxious for him to get to Jerusalem in time to do it before the feast.
Where did you get this idea, Judas?
Well, from his own teaching, of course.
But Jesus nowadays is always talking about suffering and death.
What do you think he really means us to understand by that? Wasn't he talking the other day about us sitting on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel? What do you think he meant by that?
I don't know. I don't always understand what Jesus means, and I don't mind admitting it.
When he talks about his glorious kingdom and promises us high position, do you think he's promising these things without meaning to give them?
I said, I don't know, Judas. Now leave it. Look, Jesus has reached the trees, and he's sitting down.
A nobleman went into a far country to receive a kingdom and then return. Calling 10 of his servants, he gave them £10 and said to them, "Trade with these till I come." When he returned, he commanded these servants to be called to him that he might know what they had gained by trading. The first came before him, saying, "Lord, your pound has made £10 more." And he said to him, "Well done, good servant. Because you have been faithful with very little, you shall have authority over 10 cities."
That shocked you, Judas.
You'd think Jesus had heard what we were saying.
Or read our minds. He could, you know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about what Jesus was talking about. Going away, far away, to receive a kingdom. He wasn't talking about declaring himself now.
It was only a story. You don't have to look for a double meaning in everything.
Oh, yes, you do. If you're really listening to the stories Jesus tells, I remember him telling us we could understand them, but to the crowd they remained stories.
Well, you don't need to jump to conclusions about the meaning. He may have meant something different.
Like what?
He was talking about money again. Maybe he was trying to get across to you the message about selling your house. You don't like that, do you, Matthew?
I think a lot about that, Judas, and about why Jesus doesn't really seem to value money. And do you know what I think?
Something odd, for sure.
We believe that Jesus is God's son. An only son is the heir to all his father's possessions. God created and owns everything. He said the cattle on 1,000 hills are his. So, Jesus is heir to everything. He's so rich he doesn't have to be anxious about money.
I wish he'd pass it to some of his friends. I could do with a new pair of shoes.
Miss Raybeth, here's a visitor to see you.
I'm here by the fountain, Anna. Who is it?
A friend of your brother, Raybeth. It's Amos.
Oh, it's Amos.
Good day to you, Raybeth.
Good day. Hello.
Won't you sit down, Amos?
Oh, it's all right. I'll just...
But do sit down, please, Amos. It's always nice to see a friend of my brother.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, it's really nice to see you, Amos.
I just called for a moment. You know, we're soon leaving to go to the Passover feast at Jerusalem.
Yes.
Well, Matthew's in Jerusalem, I suppose.
I'm sure he'll be there for the feast.
And do you know where he's staying?
It's so long since I've seen him. He doesn't really keep in touch.
Didn't he sometimes stay with those people at Bethany? You know, the family where Jesus raised the man from the dead.
Lazarus and his sisters. Yes, they might be staying there. I'm sure anyone would tell you where Lazarus lives. He must be quite famous.
He must indeed.
I want to ask you something. I need your help. You and your family and Jacob and Naomi, you all travel together to the feast.
That's right.
Take me with you.
Raybeth!
And Anna too, of course.
I can't leave here.
Please, Amos. Will you ask Jacob?
I don't know. It would be...
Please. Won't somebody help me get to this feast?
You are mad, Raybeth.
Anna, why don't you go and see Naomi? And she'll help you arrange things. Now, I really must go.
Hosanna to the King! Praise to the King!
Jesus, teacher, listen to them. This is blasphemy. Stop them. Rebuke them. This is all wrong. I tell you, if these people were silent, the very stones would cry out.
Listen to that, Matthew. At last, this is it. Only a few more steps to his kingdom. He'll have his rightful place, and his enemies will be forced to bow down before him. Oh, Matthew!
But Judas, you heard him weep over the city and foretell some terrible happenings. How could those things happen after he's been made king?
You take everything so literally, Matthew.
But he told us quite clearly that the chief priests would seize him and condemn him to death and scourge and even crucify him.
How could God's son be crucified, Matthew?
But he said
He said. Of course he said a lot of things. He can't let the priests, the Pharisees, the leaders find out his plans too soon. If the Roman rulers got to know of it, everything will be spoiled.
You mean you really think that any day now he'll hand out swords to us all and call on us to fight for the kingdom?
Of course. All his talk about submission, peace, gentleness, it's all just a cover-up. He's...
Judas, stop this. You used to be my friend.
I'm still your friend, Matthew. I'm just trying to help you see things from a reasonable point of view.
No, Judas, I don't think I'm your friend any longer.
Oh, Matthew, don't be like that. Jesus has to play the crowd.
Stop it. Be quiet. Don't dare. I have lived with Jesus for 2.5 years now, and there's been no sign of deceit in his mouth. Don't ever let me hear another word from you trying to smear his character with filth. Evil men judge others by the deceit in their own evil hearts.
There now, Matthew, don't get excited. I've never heard you like this before. It's nothing to lose your temper about.
But it is! This is the most important thing in the world to me. Jesus is absolutely straight, but you're not. I've had my suspicions for a long while about the money.
Oh, what, friend? Still jealous about me looking after the cash? I thought you understood that...
Matthew! Judas! What's going on here? I thought you were going to cut each other's throats a minute ago.
It's just two friends agreeing to differ, Andrew. You didn't think old Matthew had it in him, did you?
Not friends any longer, Judas. Not after that.
Calm down, Matthew. Jesus sent me to you to make peace.
Jesus?
Yes. Even in the middle of all this excitement, he couldn't help noticing two of his followers shouting at each other. Need I say he didn't like it?
Oh, Andrew. Andrew, I wonder what's to be the end of it all.
Judas, you look downcast. I've never seen you so low before.
It's not been a good day. I've quarrelled with Matthew, or rather he quarrelled with me. And, well, nothing has gone right.
Well, from what I hear, Jesus had a wonderful entry into Jerusalem. Did that not please you?
It was very exciting, Martha. The crowd, they were thrilled. They were calling him the Son of David, the King coming in the name of the Lord. Just what I'd always hoped for.
So why the frown?
It was Jesus. What happened next? What do you think he did?
Went to the temple?
Yes. In the middle of a shouting, enthusiastic crowd. The moment had come, he would declare himself, the people would rise, he would be crowned king, and then?
And then?
Well, he just looked all around and walked out again and came here.
Oh, he'll go back again in the morning.
But he's missed such a chance. There may never be such a chance again. I never thought he'd be so hesitant. Surely he's not afraid.
Oh, sorry.
Matthew?
I heard you had a message for me?
Oh, yes. A young man called looking for you. His name was Amos.
Oh, yes, Amos, I know him. What did he want?
But he wanted to see you. But he also asked me to tell you that your sister Raybeth is coming with them to Jerusalem for the feast.
Raybeth?
Raybeth?
He said you would know where to find them, in the usual place.
Oh, thank you, Martha. I must try and get to see them.
What about taking me with you, Matthew?
Forget it, Judas. Stay away from her. And me.
I'm surprised at you, Judas.
Oh, he quarrelled with me.
Well, I'm sure you could make it up if you tried. Why don't you? Jesus must be grieved about it. Now, go away and leave me alone or I'll burn this stew.
Anna, could we not go to Bethany ourselves and see if we can find them?
No, Raybeth. I keep telling you. Matthew will come here if he can.
But Anna, we've been here nearly a week and he hasn't come.
I know what's in your mind. It's not Matthew you're so keen to see.
Of course it is. He's been.
It's Judas.
And what if it is?
Oh, my poor Miss Raybeth, you really should...
I'm not your poor miss. I'm your mistress. And if I say we'll go to Bethany, you will come with me.
Very well, Mistress Raybeth. But I hate to think what those nice sisters Mary and Martha will think of you.
Oh, I don't care about Mary and Martha. What are they to me?
And what is Judas to you, may I ask?
No, you may not ask.
Bethany's a long walk in this heat.
Then we'll go in the evening.
Oh, this isn't Galilee. We couldn't go out alone in the evening.
Amos would come with us. I'll ask him.
Oh, poor lad. Amos would do anything for you.
We'll go tomorrow evening. That's settled, Anna.
In Matthew by Helen Jeffrey, Matthew is played by Mark Clenny, Raybeth by Lauren Hutchison, and Anna by Jenny Erskine. Judas was played by John Lander, Jesus by Paul Bailey, and Andrew by Mark Smith. Other parts were played by members of the Commission drama team. The play was produced in Commission Studios in Belfast by Colin Flanagan. Episode 12 is entitled My Peace I Leave With You.